Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, then welcome. Today is actually my 100th DIY Mickey ear tutorial. I literally went through and counted just to be sure that I have all of them accounted for, but this is video number 100 on DIY Mickey ears, Disney ears, whatever you want to call them. Honestly, most of you probably found this video because you were searching like how to make Mickey ears and stuff like that. So if you are looking for some inspiration, I have so many videos for different themes, different characters, different movies, and also different methods. So I have like light up ears, ears that make sound, ears that are wire, ears that are the flat, ears that are puffy, pretty much whatever you're looking for, except for 3D printing. I don't have a 3D printer. Today's video, I decided to do kind of some simple ears, but I thought it would be fun to do 3 pairs of ears. So I'm actually gonna be showing you guys 3 different tutorials, just with slightly different methods of like different textures, different types of fabrics, different trims. If you guys have been with my channel, then you know that I am obsessed with strawberries. I love strawberry everything. So one set that you'll be seeing today is this pair of strawberry ears. They are so cute. I love them so much. I did a little homage to Lotso with the little pink fur bow. The next pair that you'll see are cherry themed type ears, and I think these are so cute. Even though strawberries are my favorite, I honestly think these cherry ones are the cutest ones in this video. And then final pair is going to be, I keep calling these lemons, but I guess they're grapefruit technically because they're like pink. But this citrus inspired set of Mickey ears that are super summery and fun, and kind of a nice way to say goodbye summer, hello fall. And without further ado, let's make some ears.
So starting out with my fabric, I picked up this fat quarter from Joann's, and it's really cute. It's pink and yellow and bright, and it reminds me so much of summer. And I'm going to be flipping this open and tracing 4 of the biggest ear template that I have onto this fabric. It's called the ear cutting line template, and I will have all templates in this video linked down below for you guys. I also have these in child size if you're looking to make these a little smaller. You just have to print the templates and then you have them. But I'm going to be tracing 4 of these onto the back of the fabric, and then I'm going to cut these out using my rotary blade and my cutting mat because it is much easier than using scissors. Using that same ear cutting line template, I'm going to trace 4 of these onto a sheet of felt. I usually get my felt in a pack from Walmart, but it is super cheap at Hobby Lobby and Joann's as well. Trace 4 of these and then go ahead and cut those out as well. The last layer we need to cut out is cardboard, and I'm going to be taking the smallest ear template, the foam and batting template, and I'm going to trace this onto cardboard. I still haven't renamed this template because mostly it's used for cardboard, but I used to use it for foam and batting, which is why it's called that. But I'm going to be tracing 4 of these onto cardboard and then cutting those out using an X-Acto knife. To assemble the ear, I'm going to start with the cardboard and the felt. I'm going to do a thin line of hot glue at the top of the cardboard and then fold over the felt and tap it down into the glue. And then I'm going to work my way down each side of the ear, doing a thin line of hot glue and then folding over the felt and tapping it down. I usually leave the bottom open because we're going to close that up last. But next is the fabric layer, so you're going to turn your fabric upside down and then start doing thin lines of hot glue at the top of the ear, folding over your fabric and tapping it down into the hot glue the same way that you did with the felt, and then you'll work your way down the sides. If this is your first time making ears, I always advise doing really small portions of hot glue because then you won't feel rushed to get the fabric in place before the glue dries. For the bottom portion of the ear, I usually cut it in half because I find that if you glue it down in 2 separate flaps, that it doesn't pucker or make any weird wrinkles and the ear looks nice and smooth on the front. Once you've done those steps 3 more times, then you'll have 4 pieces of ears. So to attach them, you're going to do a pretty good amount of hot glue, focusing it mostly in the center of the ear, and then taking the other half and firmly pressing it down onto the ear. And I'm showing you guys here, like I put a lot of pressure on the ears just to make sure that they really lock in with that glue, and I don't let up until the ear has totally cooled off and I can tell that the hot glue is dry. For the trim on these ears, I chose this yellow pom-pom trim that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I also have pom-pom trim linked in my Amazon storefront in case you guys can't find it. To seal the trim, I usually run a lighter over the edge of it. It just stops it from fraying and coming apart. And then to attach the trim, I'm doing a thin line of hot glue on the rim of the ear and then tapping down my trim into the hot glue. This is a time where you really don't need very much glue, and if you use too much, it might make it a little messy. So definitely be gentle with your glue gun. You don't need a lot. And then I'm using this little silicone finger cover from Dollar Tree to tap the trim down into the hot glue. It helps keep the ears really clean and not pull up a bunch of hot glue strings. And then I'm just working my way down to the other side of the ear, and then I will cut off the excess trim and use my lighter to seal the other edge. For the bow, I thought this yellow gingham fabric was so cute and so summery and would really complement the other fabric. So I'm going to be cutting this down because obviously I have way more fabric than I need. Now for this bow, I decided to sew it shut. So I cut a rectangle that is 10 inches by 6 inches, and then I just folded it in half and sewed around the edge, leaving myself a small gap to turn it inside out. If you don't sew, don't be afraid. It's okay. I have 2 more tutorials in this video where I will show you how to make a bow without sewing. But I will say, if you learn how to sew, the bows come out really crisp and nice. But I understand it can be such a pain in the butt, and some people just don't have access to a sewing machine or hand sewing. So I am trimming off my excess from my seam allowance, and then I left myself this little tiny gap to flip the bow inside out. So that's what I'm doing now. And then once I had it all turned right side out, I'm going to make sure that I push my finger to the corners and give it a really nice crisp edge. To close up that little hole, I'm actually just going to be hot gluing it shut because I'm a little bit lazy and I didn't feel like doing a hidden stitch and I wanted it to look nice. So I'm just making sure that the hole is nice and folded the way that I want it, and then I'm just going to take a teeny bit of hot glue and close that hole up. You can see me pinching it shut here with the glue inside. After that's dry, I'm going to accordion fold my bow to give it that really pretty bow shape. And once I like how I have it, then I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue just to hold it in place. I'm just testing out the ribbon to make sure that this is the color I want to use, but just putting a little dot of hot glue into each fold and then pinching it shut and allowing that glue to dry. That'll help the bow keep its shape. Another trick is to use like a clear elastic and just wrap that around the bow, because then it'll hold it in place. For the trim, I chose this really beautiful pink thin ribbon from Walmart, and I am just gluing that to the bottom of the bow. I did wrap it around the bow a couple of times, and then I snipped off the excess, and I'm going to glue down that last little flap and allow that to dry. Next, we're going to be attaching all of this to the headband. I do have my preferred headbands linked in this video in case you guys are looking. You can get them off Amazon, and Walmart also sells the same kind. To attach these to the actual headband and make sure that I have the spacing right, I'm going to be using my ear spacing template, which I also have linked down below for you guys in case you need it. And then I will apply hot glue to the bottom of the ear and really firmly press it down onto the headband. You also, if this is your first time making ears, might want to use just a little like silver marker or something to mark where the ears are going, because sometimes you pick it up from the template and they shift a little bit. I've just made so many pairs of ears that I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing it. But I'm going to apply the glue to the other ear now, and then I'm just going to firmly press this down onto the headband as well. If you are a beginner, another piece of advice I have for you guys is make sure that when you're placing your ears, they're either centered in the headband or that you scoot them to the back edge of the headband. That way you can ensure that the ears are evenly placed on the headband, if that makes sense. Once your ears are all glued down, then you can move on to attaching the bow. And again, this is really easy. You just put a little dot of hot glue under the center of the bow and then firmly press that down onto the headband and allow the glue to dry. To give my bows a really secure hold, I love using these little clips from Dollar Tree to hold them in place. It just allows my hands to keep working in case there's another step I want to move on to. The last little thing that I'm going to be adding onto these ears is this adorable little charm. It's like a hair clip from Dollar Tree, and it comes with a pack of 2, but they're so pretty. They have like this pearlescent quality to them. So I just used a little Dollar Tree chisel to pop the lemonade off of the hair clip portion, and then I'm going to be attaching this onto the ear. To help my bow maintain the shape that I wanted, I'm just doing a little dot of hot glue on the back of the bow and tacking it down to the ear itself. This just helps the bow stay in place exactly how you want it. And then for the actual little lemonade cup, I thought about putting it on the bow, but I don't think that it would show up very well because the bow is also yellow. So this is what that would look like, and I did decide to put it on the ear itself. I thought it popped a little better on the pink fabric. Attaching this was super easy. I just did a dot of hot glue on the back of it and then pressed it down onto the ear. And that is the last step in making these little citrus lemonade inspired ears. I think these came out really cute. I just love all the bright colors. For the next set of ears, I'm not going to go quite in depth as much as I did on the first pair just because I don't want to be repetitive. So the same as before, I'm going to be using the largest ear cutting line template, tracing 4 of those onto the back of my fabric and then cutting those out. Using that same template, I'm going to trace 4 of those onto a piece of felt and go ahead and cut all 4 of those out. Last, I will trace the smallest template, the foam and batting template, 4 times onto a piece of cardboard and then go ahead and cut that out as well. Assembly will be almost the same. We're going to start by hot gluing the felt onto the cardboard, and then we will move on to using hot glue to attach the fabric onto the felt layer as well. Also the same as before, we're going to be using hot glue on the center of 1/2 of an ear, and then you're going to take your other half and very firmly press it down, connecting these 2 pieces. I found the cutest strawberry trim on Amazon, and you get a ton of it, and it's literally little strawberries all linked together. I will have a link for you guys to this trim down below in case you would like to buy your own. So first I measured out how much I needed and then went ahead and pre-cut it just because there's like 15 yards of this trim and I didn't want it in my way. And then I did attach the trim the same way as I did on the last set of ears, doing a thin line of hot glue and then gently tapping the trim down onto the ear. Make sure that you pay attention to which direction the trim is facing, because if you have a side of the ear that you would prefer to be the front, then make sure that the trim correlates to your own preference. For the bow, I'm going to be using this pink furry fabric as well as a piece of pink felt. Now originally I cut this piece of felt to be 5 inches by 5 inches, but it did end up being a little bit too big for this piece of fabric that I already had. So I had to cut it down, and I want to say it was probably 4 3/4 inch when I was done cutting it down. And that was just to make it fit the piece of fabric that I had. So I'm going to be using the felt in the middle because that helps the bow maintain its shape and the bow won't be overly like floppy and not stay in place. And then to attach the fabric to the felt, I'm going to start on the sides of the felt and glue those down. Now my fabric was really small, so I was having to be pretty creative with how I attached the glue without burning myself. So I'm just really carefully trying to fold over my fabric and tap it down on this side. This is going to create a false hemline or a fake hemline so that it looks like we sewed the bow shut, but we're not. And then on the edges of the fabric, I'm just tacking them down so that they don't fold out and give me any problems, and just doing a little dot of hot glue. And then I did the same thing to attach it. I folded it toward the felt, so toward the center of the bow, and then did 2 dots of hot glue on the corners of the fabric for that first fold. For the second fold, I'm going to be doing longer lines of glue because I really want to make sure that that looks like it's completely closed up and there's no gapping. And that's it. Now you have the little rectangle to make your bow. So you're going to accordion fold this bow the same as we did before. And to keep this one wrapped up, I decided to use that same strawberry trim wrapped around the center of it. I'm going to be gluing the bow in the folds, like doing a dot of glue into the folds just like before to help it maintain its shape, and then I will glue this trim around To assemble the bow, I'm using my ear spacing template again, and I'm going to lay down my ears and make sure I've got that good space between them. And then same as before, adding some hot glue to the bottom of the ear and then firmly pressing it down onto my headband. And once I have that first ear attached, then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. To attach the bow, I'm doing a dot of hot glue under the center of the bow and then firmly holding that onto my headband. And then I'm going to use a little clip to hold it in place and allow it to fully dry. And that is the last step on these strawberry ears. I really love how these came out. I think that they're adorable just because they're strawberries, but I also love the little pink bow that reminds me of Lotso because he smells like strawberries. And moving on to the third and final set of ears, the cherry Mickey ears, probably my favorite ones. So I found this adorable plaid cherry fabric from Joann's, and I only bought 6 inches of it, and I'm going to be doing the same thing as in the other 2 ear tutorials where I'm going to trace the ear cutting line template 4 times and cut all of those out. Once again, using that same ear cutting line template, I'm going to trace 4 of these onto a sheet of felt and cut those out. And the same thing with the cardboard, using the smallest foam and batting template, I'm going to be tracing that 4 times onto cardboard and cutting those out as well. We're going to do the layers the same way, doing a thin line of hot glue on the cardboard and then folding over the felt and tapping it down into the hot glue. And once you have your felt all attached, then moving on to the fabric layer, thin lines of hot glue, fold over the fabric and tap it down into the glue. Now this part of the tutorial is different from the other 2 ears in the video. Before attaching the 2 halves of the ear, we're actually going to attach our trim now. So I'm going to be using this gorgeous lace trim from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to be attaching that to the inside of 1/2 of an ear. So just doing a thin line of hot glue around the ear and then using this little silicone face mask applicator from Dollar Tree, I'm going to be tapping my lace trim down into the hot glue. You could also use those little silicone finger covers to do this, but just be careful because with it being lace trim, the glue does come through the trim and it can burn you. But this is what it should look like when you're done with a half, and then you can go ahead and attach the other half once your trim is all there. Apply a pretty generous amount of hot glue to the center and then firmly press down the other half. And next we will move on to making the bow. Using white felt, I cut a rectangle that was 3 by 5, and then using this piece of fabric that I have on hand, it's so pretty. It's got these little embroidered flowers and also little circles that look like hidden Mickeys to me. And I cut the fabric rectangle to 10 by 6, and then similar to the fur bow that we just made, I'm going to be doing a line of hot glue across the side of the felt and then folding over the fabric and making sure that it's attached into that hot glue to create a fake hemline. Do the same thing on the other side, and then we're going to tack down the edges with just a dot of hot glue on the corners and anywhere that the fabric is bubbling up. So I even did it in the middle, so you see me tack down there and then do another little dot. This is just how you keep the fabric from having weird like openings once you finish the bow. Next, I'm going to fold over this half and tack that down onto the felt. So I'm just doing a dot of hot glue on the corners. And then I'm going to do the other side as well, but to give this a little bit nicer of a finish, I'm going to fold over the edge. So folding over the very edge and then folding it again to go toward the center of the felt rectangle, and then I'm going to tack that down with 2 dots of hot glue. I went ahead and accordion folded it just to make sure that I don't have any other spots that I need to hot glue closed and that it was closed really nicely. To pinch the center of this bow, I'm going to be using a little strip of the cherry fabric that we used on the ears, and you do need to hot glue this shut if you don't want it to fray, because obviously it's got raw edges. So you also could probably get away with just ironing it, but I was lazy and I already had my hot glue gun out, so very carefully I'm just folding over the edges of this little strip of fabric and tapping it down into the hot glue. And then once again, I'm using my lighter just to kind of get off any excess threads and seal the edges the best I can. Same as before, I'm going to accordion fold this bow and get it into the nice bow shape that I want. And then using just a couple dots of hot glue, I'm going to try to tack down those folds. And then I will attach the little piece of fabric. So just a little dot of hot glue. I'm sorry I'm out of frame, you guys. Sometimes it happens when I'm working. I'm just going to wrap that fabric all the way around the center of the bow and then use a little dot of hot glue and tack it down on the end. Be careful not to burn yourself. And that's it for making this cute little bow. And for the assembly, it's the same as before. Using the ear spacing template, I am going to be doing hot glue on the bottom of the ear and then firmly pressing it down onto my headband. This time I chose to use a white headband. I actually bought these recently and I've really been liking using these with certain types of fabrics and projects. And these are paintable, so you guys are going to actually see a tutorial eventually where I painted one of the white headbands to like the exact shade of green that I wanted. So that's kind of cool. If you are not into wrapping your headbands with fabric, you can actually buy the white satin ones and paint them with just regular acrylic paint. But right now I am attaching the other ear onto the headband, and then once that is all set, then I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue to the bottom of the bow and attach that to the center of my headband. And that was the last step in making these little cherry summer inspired ears. I really love these. I do think that they're my favorite. They're just so dainty and feminine, and I just love the fabric that I found.
So that pretty much does it for this video, and I want to say a huge thank you to you guys, because every single one of you that clicks on my video, watches my video, likes it, comments, subscribes to my channel, you guys don't understand how much that helps me feel motivated to keep making videos. Like, knowing people are finding these videos helpful is so validating and fun, and I've loved getting to know you guys through the years, through comments on the videos or, you know, over on Instagram. It's just, I've loved doing YouTube and I'm so grateful, and honestly I'm sure I would not be on my 100th ear tutorial if you guys weren't here. So thank you so much. And as a thank you, and because you guys stuck with me to the very end of the video, I have a surprise little giveaway. So I'm gonna preface, this is definitely a smaller giveaway. It's not humongous. I don't have a lounge fly to give you, unfortunately, but I did think that it would be fun to theme it to making ears, especially if you guys are kind of just getting started out. This might be a nice little starter kit for you. So first up is this little cutting mat. I show this all the time in my videos because it's so much easier to cut the fabric on a cutting mat, and I love how small this one is, because if you don't have like a craft room, storing something like this is so much easier than storing the big giant one that I have. And so I thought this was perfect. And along with the mat, I'm also going to give you your own little rotary cutting blade. This is such a nice one because it's miniature and it makes it so much easier to cut out the ears than using the big giant ones. So those kind of go together, and this is speed-wise and like muscles in your hand. This just saves you so much stress, so I was happy to include those. The next thing goes along with most of my ears being hot glue premise. I don't sew all that often on my channel, so I am going to be giving you a little silicone mat for your hot glue gun so that you can keep your table nice and clean when you're making ears. Along with the hot glue, I will also be including these two things. So you guys probably saw me use both of these in the video, but they are protective finger covers, and that is to save your fingers from the hot glue. And then I also am including, this is actually for applying face masks, but I'm sure you guys saw in the video, it is so helpful to like push down the hot glue without burning yourself. So including those as well. Next, I'm including this pack of giant clamps, because this is often how I kind of like glue the bow down, and then I use the clamp to hold it still while I'm working on other things. And I've found these to be absolutely so useful, so that goes in the kit as well. Okay, this next item, I don't know if a ton of you are gonna need it, but I was like, why not? It's a good item. It's just a scraper tool. And honestly, what I thought about this for was cleaning up hot glue if you ever like need to kind of scrape it off your mat or anything else that it might have got on. And I just feel like these things tend to have a lot of purpose with a crafter, so I wanted to include it. The next thing has absolutely nothing to do with ears, but if you guys are followers and subscribers and just like loyal to my videos, then you probably know that I love cutie cups. I love these so much. So the Star Wars ones have been my most recent infatuation, so I decided to pick up a Star Wars one, and I made sure, I am about 98% sure, probably my favorite one that I got. So I made sure to go get another one. I really do feel positive that this is that one, okay? But I am making sure to send this your way as well, and then obviously you get to unbox it and see who I sent. The final part of this giveaway is that you guys are going to get to pick which set of ears from this video that you would like me to make for you and send to you. So you can either pick the strawberry pair, the cherry pair, or the citrus pair. I don't want to call them grapefruit, I just don't. If you guys would like to enter this giveaway at a chance to win this little ear making kit / ears / a cutie cuff then all you have to do is leave me a comment down below telling me what was the first video of mine that you remember seeing. You don't have to go into like super big detail, and you can also just be like, I know I found you from ear tutorials, I don't remember exactly which one, but like just something to tell me kind of like what brought you to this channel. And then the final thing that you have to do is leave me a little strawberry emoji. Honestly, any fruit would be fine because that was what this video was about. So leave me a fruit emoji and tell me what was the first video of mine that you remember watching. And that's it, you guys. Like, obviously I want you to be subscribed to my channel if you're entering and following me on Instagram, but I'm just gonna be pulling from whoever watched this video all the way through and entered the giveaway. This giveaway is going up on August 6th, my best friend's birthday, and you guys will have 1 week to enter. So on August 13th, this giveaway closes. I'm taking no more entries. I will be checking the date that your comment posted, but August 13th is the cutoff. So you have 1 full week from the post date to enter the giveaway, and then I will be announcing the winner on Saturday, August 17th. So August 17th, I will be announcing the winner of the giveaway, and it will close August 13th. So make sure that you guys are commenting right now so that you know that you can be entered, assuming you're not seeing this video after August 13th. Once again, thank you guys so much. I'm so appreciative to you for interacting with these videos and being here and being so supportive. And I love you guys, truly. Like, YouTube just brings such a smile to my face, and I love interacting with you guys. So thank you so much, and good luck.